Cuando creíamos que todo estaba escrito, que nada cambiaría, la COVID-19 llegó para replantearnos otros escenarios, otras rutas. Paramos, hicimos una pausa, pero redescubrimos que si estamos unidos a pesar de las distancias, seguimos
Despite
caminando. Después
distances,
de
we're still
5
moving
días, con
forward. After
126
5 days,
países,
with 126 countries, 35 sessions, and more than 1 million connected individuals, GSEF 2020, we are able to affirm that collective power is transforming, and that the larger the challenges, the most the solidarity. Now, we have an infinite desire to transform our present and mold our future towards the collective good. A better world is possible, and putting people and the environment in the center, it's viable. From Mexico and Latin America, we invite you to a place where magic, color, flavors, beauty, natural beauty, history, and the warmth of its people would allow international organizations, local governments, social organizers, social enterprises share, work, and learn for 5 days from solidarity, social and solidarity society towards a greener economy, inclusive, fair, and resilient. This country of deep eyes, magical hands, and eternal feelings warmly opens this forum. Welcome you to local governments and social economy, co-creation of routes for an inclusive and green economy. Welcome to this last day of activities at the GSEF 2021, where this discussion and these points of view that are going to be set on documents towards promoting public policy to transform and change our surroundings towards a social and solidarity economy. It should be strategic to begin opening new contexts, renewing new contexts that we have in our country and many societies all over the world. As usual, I am really happy to have my dear Paola Costa here. She's beautiful, and she's representing the typical custom. Tell me, Paola, so we can know the details. Good morning, Luis Fernando Vasquez. Thank you so much for that beautiful welcome. Welcome to all of you. I am wearing a beautiful custom from our state of Veracruz, beautiful port, widely known, and the custom is no exception. Only Veracruz is beautiful, and the women are gorgeous, and of course, elevating their name as usual. So this is an event from Mexico to the world. Thank you so much for being here. For those individuals that are here via the web, that are here from the other side of the world, greetings, warm hugs from warm Mexico. Today, it's very important. This 2021 GSEF edition is coming to an end. However, we know that what we're doing was going to give us power to work towards the future. And we're really happy to see how we're coming to the home stretch with more than 1 million people connected, 126 participating countries, and it really brings together the effort of many individuals in person and virtually, which is making this global forum for social solidarity and economy. We make it a reality. And once again, we have our opening declaration where we're going to see the roadmap regarding the steps to follow towards the building, to continue to renew our viewpoints while building better public policy for countries. I would like to give the floor and introduce our moderator for this session, which is Mr. Humberto Sergio Vasquez. He's an engineer in food by the University of the Americas in Puebla. He has a master in business administration from IPADE, and while looking for solidarity and fair alternatives, he studied masters in management for social economies company enterprises by the University of Puebla and Mondragon University in Basque Country, with the purpose of dividing the values of social economy, working towards a company dedicated, an enterprises dedicated to development of novel food items. And right now he's the coordinator of the National Institute in Social Economy. And it's a pleasure to hear him, because I did hear him before we came into the sessions. In all actually, social economy to him, he impersonates social economy. In other words, welcome, you have the floor, so you can go ahead and introduce who's going to be here today. Thank you. Thank you to all of you. I was thinking about when I was a child, and it was the day of the Olympics, and I felt nostalgic about it, nostalgic about coming to an end. And that's how I feel today. But perhaps maybe a deeper feeling, because as opposed to the Olympics and the World Cup, I am convinced that social economy is a mechanism to change the world and make it a better place. So today we have met. We have a group of individuals meeting, and it's been a pleasure to see how passionate and how strong they feel and how strongly they have exposed their points of view in terms of their social economy in the countries where they reside. So although I feel nostalgic about something coming to an end, I feel truly excited about something beginning. And it's to see each other on a daily basis, not only to discuss social economy, but go back to our territories and truly doing it every day of our life. It is a pleasure to introduce a group of individuals that I feel dear admiration for them, because these are people that truly share our convictions regarding social and solidarity in economy. And this is a declaration that I'll be elaborating on in a few minutes. I'm going to be introducing the individuals that will be here today. We have Mr. Juan Manuel Martinez Lugier, who is the General Director of the Social Economy National Institute for the Mexican government, who is the President of the Committee Local of the G7 2020. Welcome, sir. And we also have from South Korea, we have Lawrence Barkusdes, the General Secretary for the General Secretariat of GSAF. Welcome, Lawrence. We also have Dr. Diana Alarcon, who is the General Coordinator for Consultants regarding international matters for Mexico City. Good morning, Doctor. And we have Ms. Sohan El Guardini, who is the mayor of Dakar, which is going to be the next venue for GSEF, for the GSEF. And we have Dr. Majid Mendel, who is Distinguished Professor Emeritus, School of the Community Public Affairs, University of Concordia, Montreal, Canada. Welcome. And we have Mr. Luis Proaño, who is from the Spark of Tifun, Germany, Latin America, and the Caribbean. Good morning. And we have Mr. Juan Carlos Urquiles, who is the manager of the Jardín Azuayo Cooperative. He's joining us from Ecuador. Mr. Moudadere Yes, General Secretary for the City of Dakar. We have Mariana Flores from the government of Mexico City as a representative. And we also have Junjue Park, who has been adhering to the GSEF process during the past years, and she's from the General Secretariat of GSEF. Welcome, Junjuen. Before I give the floor to Dr. Martin Mendel, who's going to present the declaration, I'd like to tell you a little bit about what the declaration is all about. Every year, ever since we conduct the GSEF, and first in South Korea in 2014, Montreal 2016, Bilbao 2018, a group of individuals that have participated in the organization have met in order to generate a declaration, which is a position that when we want to propose local governments and the local sector of the economy regarding what we should be doing to promote a social economy towards a greener economy and an inclusive economy. Down these lines, each forum is composed of a declaration, and this year was no exception. A group of multidisciplinary individuals have worked towards this declaration. So it is a document that when you hear it, is going to touch many hearts. Why? Because we were able to show the essence of where we want to go. We're using firm terminology towards a declaration in which we dare to state how local governments should be building on, and where should the social economy sector be heading. So I am truly convinced that these words can show a roadmap regarding our direction. We don't want this to be just set forth on paper. This GCEF 2021 Declaration Mexico City, it's a call to action. So everybody can build a better world from the social and solidarity economy. With that said, I'd like to give the floor to Dr. Marguerite Mendoza so she can go ahead and present the declaration and individuals that will be reading the declaration. Welcome, madam.
Excuse me, I forgot to unmute. I hope you can hear me now. Good morning, buenos dias, bonjour. It is, or good afternoon, good evening. It is really my pleasure to be with you and to introduce the declaration for GCEF 2021 taking place in wonderful Mexico. My deepest regret not to be there with you. This is a moment when all the local governments, SSE organizations from around the world, research centers, and individuals working in and representing the social and solidarity economy at GCEF 2021 speak with one voice. I've had the honor, the privilege, the pleasure to participate in the co-drafting of the declaration at each of the previous GCEF forums. This year, this time, it was especially challenging. And I would say frustrating, because we would much rather be around a table together, drinking coffee, having a beer, a cerveza, a glass of wine together. But the wonders of technology allowed us to pursue the same collaborative process with the same passion, the same enthusiasm, and the same commitment. So this reflects a common effort. It reflects our common concerns, our common hopes, aspirations, and goals, and the declaration proposes an action plan to be adopted immediately and to take us forward. I'd like to now present the names of all the committee members and then introduce those who will be reading the introduction. So the committee members who participated in the co-drafting were Mr. Murad Dié, Secretary General from the City of Dakar, CEPEM, Juli Hernandez, Project Manager and Advocacy Officer for RIPES, located in Spain, Bernard Luiga, Administrative Officer at Kampala Capital City Authority, Kampala City, from the Nakawa Division, Seneca, Sun Young Han, who is in charge of international relations for the Social Solidarity Economy Network in South Korea, myself from Concordia University, Mariana Flores, representing Mexico City government, Juan Carlos Urgieles Martinez, Cooperative Jardín Azuaco from Ecuador, who was also part of the organizing committee of GCEF 2021, Mariana Heredia from INAIS, Mexico, and was also part of GCEF 2021 Technical Secretariat, and of course, last but not the least, Laurence Cork, Secretary General of GCEF, and Yuan Yun Park, femme extraordinaire, who is always at the helm 24 hours a day. And so now we will read the collectively drafted declaration with 5 voices, but representing all our voices. There will be 5 readers. The first will be Senora Mariana Flores, followed by Juan Carlos Urgieles, myself, Murad Dié, and then Young Yuan Park. So Mariana, please begin. Thank you. Thank you all.
Muchas gracias. Comienzo con la declaración GCEF 2021 de la Ciudad de México.
Thank you. I begin with the declaration, GCEF 21 from Mexico City.
Ha desempeñado
October 8, 2021, GCEF has performed a fundamental movement organizing individuals and agents in solidarity economy internationally ever since it was created in 2013. GCEF 2021 meets today in Mexico City after traveling to Montreal in 2016 and to Bilbao in 2018. It has become a voice of social and solidarity economy worldwide, asking local government and regional governments to acknowledge the vital role that solidarity economy, so social economic represents to face economic and environmental challenges all over the world. The unexpected COVID pandemic in 2020 made impossible to celebrate GCEF 2020 in Mexico City. Nevertheless, from October 19th to the 23rd, 2020, the GCEF's virtual World Forum was celebrated with 2,500 participants. Now, during the last day celebrated in a hybrid fashion due to the crisis, we are issuing this declaration with the purpose of expressing the shared commitment of each one of the participants all over the world, with important contributions from Mexico and from the region, Latin America and the Caribbean. Thousands of people have participated in this forum in the midst of a humanitarian crisis. To date, that the world is still suffering the effects of the pandemic in our lives, its consequences for public health, the economy, the society in general, continue to manifest themselves while governments all over the world fight to offer quick responses and strategic plans at the long term. The massive loss of jobs all over the world, especially in informal economy, but not only regarding informal economy, but the lack of labor, healthcare services, unsatisfied basic needs such as food, lodging, and the largest amount of inequalities in the countries, including access to vaccines and medical attention, are tragically accumulating all over the planet. The world needs to take on radical alternatives, focusing as the effects of financial crisis in 2008, 2012. This is no longer an option. Social and solidarity economy must be a model for development post-COVID-19, viable that would be focusing on the individuals, a democratic process, sustainable process with the purpose of rebuilding a better world. Currently, the solidarity and social economy is performing a decisive role when we provide and mitigate repercussions that are long-term and short-term due to the pandemic. Thus, it can contribute significantly a change of paradigm. Solidarity social economy has shown extraordinary resilience as companies have increased their activities. But these experiences are also inspiring while generating new initiatives in all sectors, particularly in healthcare services and social services, which are vital, such as daycare centers, living assistance for the elderly, and also the provision of healthcare, collective healthcare all over the world, something that reinforces public services while complementing government actions.
The need for a paradigm shift prioritizing people and the planet is no longer in question. The climate emergency calls for strengthening alternative food systems with an emphasis on local food production, consumption, and distribution. Stepping up waste collection, recycling, and reuse, amongst many other actions to mitigate the climate crisis. Moreover, many existing community-based initiatives throughout the world have long been dedicated to the stewardship of land and nature through sustainable collective ownership based on trust and human relationships. The inherent commitment of the social and solidarity economy to the well-being of all people must transcend all aspects of life. We have a call for action. GCEF 2021 has provided a space for knowledge exchange and synergies among social and solidarity economy actors who reaffirm their commitment to the following.
Nous appelons tous les gouvernements et organisations internationales et régionales
We call all the governments, international associations to respect everything and social services of quality, particularly the services, the healthcare services, guaranteeing the right to a dignified life for everyone, favoring the fundamental values of the humanity and social inclusion in all aspects of life, including the equality of women and men, while eliminating discrimination through the participation of individuals through the SSE in order to face the sanitary crisis as well as the food crisis all over the world. We must build at a local level while improving the ecosystems, collaboration, and working in coordination with the governments, with the national governments, regionals and local level governments. All the participating parties, meaning all the citizens, the networks and the organizations are going to participate in that process. That would be the local governments from the SSE. Specifically, local governments must advocate the beginning of local participation, adding the values of local systems, favoring the synergies among the stakeholders of the economy, traditional stakeholders of the SSE and local governments. Finally, we call local governments to establish policies that are going to be favoring local innovations, solutions, while supporting the capacity of those systems and synergies so they can be adequately developed.
We call on SSE actors to strengthen North-South, South-South, and multi-actor collaboration exchanges to further promote SSE and social innovation, to promote new and lasting alliances between SSE enterprises in order to develop socially innovative projects rooted in local communities, to reinforce political advocacy for the adoption of policies and legal frameworks conducive to the development of SSE in partnership with governments, especially local governments, to develop research on and expertise in SSE, to adopt a long-term approach to the promotion of SSE aligned with the UN SDGs, to prioritize gender, race, and intersectional perspectives, to engage actively in the co-design of tools to measure and evaluate the impact of the SSE initiatives.
Thank you.
Esa fue la declaratoria de GICEF 2021 Ciudad de México.
That was the declaration for GCEF 2021 Mexico City, which was built by a group of individuals that set forth their will. And we raise our voices not only to say it's not about words, but it's a call to action to execute on a daily basis from an individual basis, the different awareness of how to live the social economical model. The solidarity economy, social economy calls to generate critical routes of a green economy. But for that source, no more words and more action. In order to work to close, I would like to ask Mr. Juan Manuel Martinez Purrier, Professor, Director of the National Institute of Social Economy, to please address a few words to the audience in order to officially close the event. Thank you, Humberto. Before we do that, I think that Luis was already calling for a round of applause for the declaration. Thank you, and thank you so much for using this universal sign that we have as a humanity in order to celebrate the small and the great moments. So I believe that this declaration is no exception. On behalf of the government of Mexico, the Institute for Social Economy, National Institute of Social Economy, that since they named me to be the president of the organizing committee, along with the government of Mexico City and its institutions, we were able to carry out the GCEF. I would like to deeply thank that we were able to do it last year, 2020, in the midst of something nobody thought would happen when in Bilbao they turned the flagship to Mexico City. So I'm glad we were able to do it last year, despite against all odds. We were able to do it. We got the 8,500 live individuals. So we went over 1,200,000 individuals through social media. So thank you so much for that. I'd like to underscore my gratitude to the Secretariat in Seoul. Thank you so much. Thank you, my dear friend and partner, Laurence Quark. Causalidad, that is the word. That's the only word that I can pronounce in Korean. I think that's the right word. Thank you so much. Thank you to the team, to you. Thank you. It's important to remember
to hold this forum in Seoul, Montreal, and Bilbao, and now here in Mexico City. We definitely remember him, so it's good that his objectives towards the GSEF can be achieved here in Mexico City. I also wish to thank the local steering committee. Some of them are here amongst us, and some are connected remotely. Of course, I wish to greet you all. Since the first moments of this organization 2 years ago, the General Secretariat expressed their intention with regards to the organization of the GSEF might be local. It wasn't to generate a standards of the GCEF, but rather to be able to be very specific, regionally speaking. So I feel extremely thankful for having had a steering committee at a local level, legal level, very diverse, where everybody had space to opine, what messages we wanted to convey, what type of questions we wanted to ask, and of course, the declaration we wish to express and convey with regards to the GCEF. Therefore, thank you so much to the local steering committee. And today we are finishing, of course, together with all these efforts, these two editions, the last year's, which was remote, and this year, which had over 120 countries gathered here with us. The sessions took place in Spanish, English, French, and some of them in Korean, with the events of the 2020, the Co-Creation Strategic Fora and the Youth Fora, which were extremely important, that gathered together hundreds of youth in Latin America. Therefore, thank you so much. And thank you, of course, to the steering committee that since the creation of the GCEF, its mission has been to guide and stating the steps forward. Thank you very much. And at a local level, thank you to the 17 partners that helped us, contributing from their own zones and from their own generosity. I wish to underscore the contributions on behalf of the German Foundation concerning the savings account for Latin America. Thank you so much, Luis, for this, and especially the Cooperativa Pascual in Telmex, because the technology, which is crucial for us at present, well, we were able to perform this in an important manner. And of course, once again, I wish to thank the agencies of the Mexico City government, headed by Madam Sheinbaum, for having been open to the inauguration of this event. Mexico City, within this context, being at 200 meters more or less from where the Templo Mayor was found. In other words, the remains of the ancient large Tenochtitlan city, where the cathedral, the Metropolitan Cathedral, was built, where the National Palace was the seat of that colonial period, which not only covered the territory of Mexico, but basically it went down to Colombia. And here, 200 meters from us, we have held these on-site meetings. And here we have been able to gather so much knowledge, so much learnings and experiences, which of course have already been part of the social economy and will provide a light from a practical level, the expansion of social economy. And now we have the responsibility of continuing to promote it. Thank you. Thank you so much to all our colleagues that are here live from Italy, Colombia, from Ecuador. Thank you so much to Dr. Diana Alarcón, who is here with us and helped us to coordinate with all the agencies here in Mexico City. Thank you so much. And I do trust that we shall hold a few meetings. Let's continue learning. Let's continue liaising with the power of the mall and with all the stakeholders of social economy. Let's continue, and we will have further space for the formal closing of the GCEF. Thank you very much. Well, thank you, Juan Manuel. One day I heard that when you thank, those things still continue taking place. I'm extremely moved having heard Mr. Juan Manuel thank you on so many occasions and in so many different languages, because this means that this can continue taking place throughout our lives. Now, before giving the floor to somebody else, I wish to say, and I would ask the cameraman, there is a statement that we placed at the start of this GCEF that says, being here today is that means that there are no barriers for the power of cooperation. And being here today, it's been a very complex path where definitely we wouldn't be here today because of the union of all the partners that contributed for this to take place. And I'm saying this not as a rhetorical figure, but because it's the truth. Without our partners, this would not have been possible. Some of them have already said this, and we're asking Luis Proaño from the German chamber for him to be the voice of these partners and to convey a message for the GCEF Mexico City 2021. Thank you, Luis, and thank you to all our partners that made this possible. Luis, you have been recognized. Thank you so much, Humberto. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. Honestly, to try and represent those allies, which is the union of all these responsibilities and results for this to take place, of course, it's a big challenge. Well, of course, I cannot address the floor on behalf of all of them, but I'm convinced that what joins us or unites us is that spirit that from the start we promoted. In other words, in spite of the adversity that we saw throughout the world because of the pandemic of COVID-19, and in spite of not being prepared and facing a world that wasn't prepared to this enormous crisis, well, under those conditions, we were able to promote the GCEF 2020 virtually, connecting throughout this week over 1 million people throughout the world from over 150 countries. And to learn precisely from that experience on the importance of these partnerships and along the spirit of these partnerships and what can be built and co-create as well. Well, the organization that I represent, as well as all the partners that represent the local governments, academia, the actors of social economy, the networks of those organizations of social economy throughout the world. And of course, we've gathered all our efforts and we help each other for this to take place. This has allowed us to be able to celebrate the last day of this week in a hybrid manner, GCEF in a hybrid manner, which has been fundamental. The work that has been carried out. And on behalf of the members and allies, I wish to deeply thank everyone. As we said yesterday, thank you for all of you behind the scenes on behalf of Berenice Alcalde and her team. I wish to thank all of you for these hours of life that you have transmitted to the GCEF for us to have brought together willingness and have shared experiences and having heard the proposals with regards to the big challenges for the building of a society, a different economy, an inclusive economy for all men and women. So to all that team, thank you so much. This is another sample that social economy brings together willingness and teams to change things and realities. Finally, in the last statement that was read through these voices that represent the world in the different continents to collect those key messages, which mean how everyone needs to be committed. In other words, it's a call so that all those isolated efforts are important at a local and territorial level, but the building of inclusive communities that go beyond the local level, and the fact that after this GCEF, we will be able to share and communicate and work towards what joins us, which has also been mentioned here today. In other words, it's the light towards sustainable developments which try to reduce inequality and poverty, dignified jobs, to carry out enterprises which will take care of the environment, which definitely alert and call upon the world, the planet, the governments. Hence, this message and the SDGs are definitely an option so as to be able to be summoned surrounding these SDGs and to be able to move ahead in a different and inclusive world for all men and women. On behalf of our partners, thank you very much. And of course, to once again, we are committed to continue walking along this path with the GCEF forever. Thank you. Well, thank you, Luis, and thank you to all the partners that have been here now for over 3 years when we began on this path, when in Bilbao, this was conceived by the Secretariat at the headquarters in 2020 and now 2021 in Mexico City. Let's give the floor to Laurence Coive, the General Secretary of GCEF. Madam, you have been recognized. Thank you, Humberto, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from Seoul, Korea. Welcome to all of you online through Facebook as well, and from the official page of GCEF 2021 and present in Mexico City. Dear Madam Laguardini, the Mayor of DACA, Dr. Diana Alarcón, the General Coordinator of Advisors and Interregional Matters of the Government of Mexico City, and dear Mr. Juan Manuel Martinez Lubier, the General Director of INAES, Mr. Luis Bolaño, all the members of the steering committee and of the working group for the preparation of the
a
G7
quien no puedo
2021
nombrar cada uno por
statement.
falta de
I cannot
tiempo.
name
Muy
each
bueno.
and every one of you because of a lack of time, but therefore, good morning to all of you. It's an honor for me to be able to convey these thank you words on behalf of the Secretariat of the G7 and of all the G7 members. At the same time, it's very sad not to be able to gather in person, all of us in Mexico City. Nonetheless, we are united and connected throughout these 5 days from October the 4th to the 8th of October for the celebration of the G7 2021, in spite of the pandemic and the difficulties because of the different time zones. This has been a celebration of our lives, our struggle, our work, and our hope based on the values of social economy. We are far away, but we are united under the same spirit, with the same hope, and with the same determination that tomorrow has to
Mejor,
be
más
different,
inclusiva
better,
y
more
sostenible.
inclusive, and sustainable as a society, so as to be able to take care of each other and to take care of our planet. Mayor Bach always said that you can walk quickly, but on your own. But when we walk together, we will reach afar and be strong. G7 2021 was exactly an experience of these words. And this becomes the dream of our Mayor Bach. And this has been possible because of the great dedication and care and great organization of the Secretariat of G7 2021, together with the Institute of Social Economy, with Mexico City, and of course the government of Mexico City, and all the members of the steering committee of G7 2021 and our sponsors
Con la
as
economía
well.
social
Their
y
commitment
solidaria
with
y
social
la
economy
esperanza
and
para un mundo
solidarity
mejor.
economy, and the hope for a better world in these times of great transformations have made us all share the best
Experiencias diversas y
practices,
innovadoras,
different
propuestas
experiences,
soluciones para
innovative
lograr
experiences, proposals, and innovations towards inclusive innovation for all men and women. Last year, as part of the preparatory activities, we carried out different webinars towards the path of G7 2021 and the Virtual Forum 2020. We never stopped with our efforts because of the pandemic, because we definitely have to join efforts more than before and to find ways of cooperating for ourselves and our people. Throughout this week, we worked for the promotion and consolidation and
valores
visibilization
y
of the
prácticas de la
principles,
economía social y
values,
solidaria
and
de poder
practices of
poner
solidarity and social economy to definitely place human beings as a priority. G7 2021, as the 5th edition of the Global Forum of Social Economy in Mexico City, as the first host headquarter of G7 in Latin America and the Caribbean, has presented dialogue, roundtables, and learning sessions, discussions, and debates. G7 2021 has been a clear space on visions throughout the world, on topics, important topics for a green economy and inclusive social economy, cooperation amongst all the governments and stakeholders throughout these territories. And together we shall take those steps toward the future, and nobody should be left behind. The spirit of solidarity is found here, and we have seen this by all of you.
Muchísimas gracias a
Thank
cada
you
uno de
very much to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being present here today, and we shall continue beyond the year 2021. Thank you very much. Laurence, thank you very much for these emotional words and for the work carried out and the effort that you've carried out for so many years. And thank you for that moving message conveyed that always together, men and women, we shall be stronger. Beyond applauding your words, I wish to ask for a special applause to Laurence Kwok and her team because they have carried out an extraordinary work. Without their willingness and ideas, we wouldn't be here today. So please, I ask you for a big applause for Laurence and her team. Thank you.
Muchas gracias a todas y a
Thank
todos.
you to all of you. As I was saying, when we remember the Olympic Games, when the flame is off, but the flame is lit in another city. For example, the following moment that will come about is very important because it's the moment in which Mexico City, by means of Dr. Liana Alargon, will convey thank you words and, of course, the closing of the GCEP 2021 in Mexico City to pass the flame to the Dakar city, to the mayor, Sohar Al-Maldini. And in 2 years, we shall be there promoting a social and solidarity economy towards a path for a fairer, inclusive, and greener
Cedemos
world.
la palabra para este
Adam,
momento
Diana,
tan
you have
especial
the
de
floor for
ceder
this
la estafeta.
very special moment to convey the baton to the city of Dakar for GCEP 2023. Thank you very much and good morning, good afternoon, good evening to those of you that are here with us from different parts of the world in different time schedules. I'm very glad to be able to greet you from Mexico City and to be part of this landmark of the 5th edition on social economy. In other words, of the launching of the GCEP Declaration 2021. I wish to commence on this very special occasion thinking of the process of the global social economy process during the period 2020-2021 and to talk about the experience in Mexico City as headquarters of this very important international meeting, never seen before for 2 consecutive years. When Mexico City was postulated and chosen as the headquarters of GCEP 2020 back in 2018, after having received the baton on behalf of the city of Bilbao, few or basically nobody could have imagined a scenario like the one we have gone through since the start of this decade. 3 years ago, we assumed with enthusiasm the commitment of carrying out the 5th edition of the forum and the first in the region of Latin America, fully convinced that social and solidarity economy had to have a greater momentum and acknowledgement at a local, national, and international level, and simultaneously and in a coordinated fashion as well. What took place thereafter did not wither that commitment, neither its enthusiasm. On the contrary, it convinced us even more that we need in our cities and in our countries alternative development models which will place the individuals at the center of our public policies and
Esa es
programs.
definitivamente la principal
That
lección
is
que nos está dejando.
definitely the main lesson that the pandemic is leaving. And definitely social and solidarity practices are the guide to leave no one behind in a multidimensional crisis context like COVID-19, which of course it's a health issue which has had implications in an economic, political, and social level. The political movement that we're part here in the government of Mexico City, as well as in the government of Mexico, sustains that economic policies need to be based on values like justice, equality, honesty, and well-being. Today, like never before, these values are necessary. As it has already been mentioned in this forum, during the 3 first years headed by the administration of Claudia Sheinbaum in Mexico City, we have strengthened different actions and programs to provide opportunities to the least favored, promoting especially
a
the
través de la
small and medium-sized companies
desregulación administrativa,
through
capacitación y
administration,
créditos con
deregulation, training, loans, low interest rates, promoting creative and sustainable industries, supporting the rural areas, supporting public markets, just merely to show you a few examples. Our city project points towards a sustainable city economically and environmentally, and a more human and equal city where everybody will have the opportunity to be able to exercise our economic, social, cultural, and environmental rights. Under local government and social economy themes, co-creation of pathways for inclusive and green economy, we convey a message from Mexico City that other paths are possible. And to be able to move ahead, we have to rethink ourselves as human beings, collectives, and cities. After having headed this process for 2 years with different initiatives and activities that took place majoritarily remotely, but also having finally
semipresencial en la Ciudad de
achieved a
México,
semi-on-site
esperamos haber
event
contribuido
in Mexico City, we hope having contributed towards achieving the main objectives defined for this edition, to have opened the door of the G7 in Latin America from the largest Hispanic-speaking countries of the world, and to be able to be visible in an important forum concerning the best practices that have been created in Latin American cities for years, decades, and centuries. Since the co-presidency of the G7 2021, it has been for us in Mexico City a great privilege to have organized this very important project together with the National Social Economy Institute of Mexico and of a broad and distinguished steering committee. Also, we value and thank you the contributions of each and every one of the stakeholders and sectors that have supported participating in this forum with the willingness to promote and build together. The G7 2021 declaration precisely reflects the
así
spirit
como los
of this
ideales y acciones que
team, as well as
impulsamos desde la Ciudad de
ideals
México.
and promotion of Mexico City to be the headquarter of the Social Economy Forum. From this document, I wish to underscore that social economy and solidarity economy is carrying out a decisive function when it takes into account the repercussions in the short and medium term of COVID-19. Definitely, it can contribute to a change of paradigm at a global level. We believe that this vision can guide us towards the path towards a recovery after the pandemic for a better future for humanity through proper pathways in our lifestyles and coexistence with the planet. We today deliver to the city of Dakar the baton that recognizes it as the headquarters of the Global Forum of Social Economy 2023. And we convey this role of leadership with the trust that they will continue strengthening the
Social y
efforts for
solidaria a nivel
positioning
global y
social
especialmente en el
economy at a
marco
global
sur-sur.
level, especially within the framework of the South-South region. We convey the best of successes of GCEP, and we hope that the forum for the first time in its history will reach the African continent. Thank you very much for all of you to be present throughout this big experience. Thank you so much, Dr. Diana Alarcón. Once we have conveyed the baton, we give the floor to the city of Dakar through its mayor of Dakar, Madam Dakarini, and we shall hear their words in their city, the baton. Madam, you have been recognized.
Bonjour. Mesdames et messieurs, chers participants, je me réjouis du choix porté sur la ville de Dakar pour abriter le prochain Forum mondial de l'économie sociale et solidaire du G7 2023. Au-delà de Dakar et du Sénégal,
On behalf of Dakar and Senegal and all the northeast of Africa, it's a great honor to host for the first time the next Social and Solidarity Economy Forum. Ladies and gentlemen, social economy and cooperation economy and mutual cooperation together will be stronger, will go longer, and will be more solidary. Social and solidarity economy in Africa would like to affirm its unity within the politic and geographical and cultural context. Africa is the cradle of humanity. African social and solidarity economy places collectivity as its main role of action, and it's in its maturity phase and sovereignty phase. And that is constructive and balanced with the joint effort, local collectivity, including the public environment, the civil society, working together towards a Pacific, peaceful continent, respectful of people, individuals. Through its perspective, Dakar will be ready. Africa will be ready. And we will be hosting everybody with open arms while sharing our creativity, our culture, and our values. It is ambition and pride that allows us to offer this continent and project this continent towards the building of networks, local networks, towards a better development, inclusive in development and equitable development. We warmly and with fraternity, we invite you as a planet to join us in social solidarity economy efforts. You will be welcome in the next Joseph Dakar 2024 for nature, for the world, for youth. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the occasion to extend my gratitude on behalf of the city of Dakar and on behalf of all our municipality. I wish, personally speaking, I would like to truly thank all the stakeholders, all the collectivities within the context of social solidarity and economy, including municipalities, particularly Mr. Malitu and Mme. Aluk-Sassam, for bringing their efforts together towards the well-being. I would like to thank you. I would like to thank the Secretary General of the Global Economy, Mr. Acosta and Benjamin Johannes, for their availability, without forgetting the importance of social solidarity economy. I'd like to thank once again Mr. Aguanco for all of their support. I would like to thank Mexico City and congratulate you within the context of the National Institute of Social Economy and all the stakeholders that have come together in the context of COVID-19 in order to stop any suffering and in order to celebrate next event in person. You deserve all the merit. You deserve all the merit. And ladies and gentlemen, dear participants, I am giving you an appointment in 2023 at Dakar, the capital of Senegal, which is the city, the most western city in Africa, part of the Black continent, where collectively we work towards inclusive development. Long live Dakar, long live Africa, long live the planet, and long live the ESS. Thank you so much.
Eso, que viva la economía social y solidaria.
Long live social and solidarity economy. We conclude this session that way. That doesn't mean that the G7 has concluded. On the contrary, we're still beginning. We're speaking about alliances and we're commenting. We did comment before in the panel that if we want to be strong, we have to work together. And that's through the generation of strategic alliances in all ways. Without any further ado, we extend our gratitude to all of you, those that have been working in backstage. Thank you so much. Closer, from a long distance. Thank you. And let's meet for the photograph and let's continue with this wonderful program. Have a wonderful day.
En Sociedad Cooperativa Trabajadores de Pascual SCL, somos más que una embotelladora de bebidas de frutas. A través del tiempo, hemos demostrado que es posible la organización laboral para consolidar una empresa sana, que hoy es ejemplo del sistema cooperativista en México. Con bebidas como Boing, Pato Pascual y Lulú, que son nuestros estandartes, nos hemos mantenido en el gusto y preferencia de los consumidores de varias generaciones. Para conformarnos como cooperativa, hubo la necesidad de sensibilizar a todos los trabajadores y optar por un estilo laboral y de vida que nos permitiera mejorar nuestra situación económica, social y cultural. Este sistema ha logrado crear una sinergia de productividad y beneficio colectivo. Ser una empresa como esta es un gran orgullo, un ejemplo de perseverancia y esfuerzo, donde el consumidor es quien se beneficia al tener a su alcance productos nacionales de la mejor calidad. En Cooperativa Pascual estamos conformados por una extraordinaria infraestructura acorde al siglo XXI, en el que trabajamos con equipo y tecnología de vanguardia, lo que nos permite fijar metas a corto y largo plazo basadas en las necesidades del mercado y las preferencias de los consumidores. Contamos con 2 plantas de producción, una en San Juan del Río, Querétaro, y otra en Tizayuca, Hidalgo, en las que elaboramos toda la gama de productos aplicando los más altos estándares de calidad, con la confianza de responder en tiempo y forma a la gran demanda del cada vez más competido mercado de bebidas. En estas plantas producimos más de 40 millones de cajas anuales, con el apoyo de 4 sedes en la Ciudad de México, 30 sucursales y un creciente número de distribuidores autorizados a lo largo del territorio nacional. Comercializamos nuestras ya tradicionales marcas como son Boing, Pato Pascual, Lulú, Néctasis, Agua Purificada, Mexicola y Power Dog, además de la leche Pascual. Nuestras plantas tienen la certificación de sistemas de gestión de calidad ISO 9001-2015 en los procesos de elaboración de bebidas, néctares y pulpas de fruta. Asimismo, contamos con la certificación de FDA en Estados Unidos, lo que nos permite exportar nuestros productos a este país. Para la elaboración de nuestros productos, utilizamos fruta selecta, verificada directamente por nuestra área de control de calidad. Apoyamos el desarrollo y crecimiento del campo nacional, ya que, beneficiando a los productores del campo mexicano, en Cooperativa Pascual consumimos más de 20,000 toneladas de frutas al año. Y con la compra directa del azúcar que se requiere para la elaboración de las bebidas que comercializamos, se apoya también a los ingenios azucareros de nuestro país. En una empresa como esta, basamos parte de nuestra fortaleza en la distribución de nuestros productos. Por esto, contamos con una infraestructura de unidades de reparto, asegurando así que nuestras bebidas se puedan disfrutar en cada rincón de México y el extranjero. Para Cooperativa Pascual, el consumidor es lo más importante. Por esto, nuestras decisiones, el personal, las inversiones en tecnología y capacitación se enfocan en satisfacer a los paladares más exigentes. La excelencia de nuestros productos nos ha merecido diversos premios, como el de la excelencia europea, el americano de calidad y reconocimientos internacionales al prestigio comercial de bebidas de marca y calidad. Dentro de la cooperativa tenemos una Fundación Cultural Trabajadores de Pascual y del Arte AC, con un amplio acervo pictórico de importantes artistas. Esta fundación realiza exposiciones por todo el país y apoya diversos proyectos culturales independientes. Por otra parte, contamos con un centro recreativo ubicado en San Juan, Teotihuacán, para el esparcimiento de los trabajadores y del público en general. Orgullosos de nuestra apuesta por el crecimiento sostenible, el compromiso con el medio ambiente, la creación de empleos y la integración, llevamos nuestras bebidas a cada vez más personas, que son la auténtica base de nuestro futuro. Ser una cooperativa no es solo una figura administrativa, es la orgullosa realidad de una empresa 100% mexicana. Somos lucha, somos calidad, somos la experiencia de más de 80 años en el mercado, somos líderes en la elaboración de bebidas, somos Cooperativa Pascual, calidad que sabe a tradición.